welcome back to L.O.V.Empowerment podcast. It's me, Kiviana.
I'm Michelle.
I'm Danielle.
And I'm Patrice.
All right, guys. So we're going to try to switch it up a little bit this round, and we're going to start off with some trending topics that's been going on in the news and the radio around Omarion. And it's also, I guess, connecting it to women as well. So I know you already know, and all of you already know, the story in regards to his bandmate, Lil Fizz, smashing his baby mama. The baby mama who had 2 kids by him. They broke up in, 2016? What do we think? Like, is that okay? Is it okay for us to go smash the homies? You know, like, where does the loyalty lie?
Hell no.
Nah.
What you think?
Had 2
Trees?
babies.
I don't know. Trees like, fair game. If they not together, they not together, huh?
I just don't know if they was friends. Like, are
Oh,
they
Mariana
just because they
Fizz?
in the same band? That means they're
Oh.
friends. Like, we
They
could
could've
just be
just been
co-workers.
bandmates.
We work
Yeah.
together. So it's like, I don't know.
But I don't know, Trees, because that's like saying we are all on podcasts, so we essentially like bandmates together. We ain't playing no music, but we
Okay.
mates.
Yeah.
Even if we're not best of friends, we're close enough where I know that's your baby mama. You got 2
Yeah.
kids with
Yeah.
her. That's
I'm
not
not about to go
that's like
there.
me going to go mess with Michelle
Okay.
X.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Put it that way.
But who is at fault the most? Is it the woman or is it the man?
I say they,
They
both,
both
are.
are.
You think it's an equal thing?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's both.
Okay.
I honestly, just because, like, maybe it was a discussion. We don't, like, maybe Lil Fizz had a discussion with him, like, hey, can I go date her? But I don't think so, because Omarion, like, every picture, he just got the I don't give a fuck, like, face. So I don't think that the conversation was, hey, I think he was just, like, hanging around with her, because you seen it, like, always, they was hanging around, and they was like, what are they doing? Are they together? And they kept saying no. So it's like, now, he's like, oop, we together now. I don't think a conversation
We already
was
knew
had.
that.
Right?
But
So you
Like, I don't
think
think a conversation was had.
you think she was checking Fizz out while she was with Omarion, or does just happen to just like spring up? Like, hey, even though I've
She
been
was probably
around
checking him out
all the time.
all the time. Like when he used to come hang around. Like we don't know if they were friends or not, but I'm pretty sure they had encounters. Just like
Okay.
they still had to get up for publicity and all of that.
Yeah, so this woman just making us look bad. Then
I'm about to say, because it tied back to, this conversation we had last week about your man having women that are friends.
yep, because I'm quite sure she was
Yeah.
Fizz's friend because that's Omarion's girl. So it's like, oh, we're
Yeah.
all friends. You at
Yeah.
the band with us.
They all hanging together. And
Goes
then
back to my point. No. No.
you can't be around my man. Nope.
Right?
But then it gets worse. Like, I guess friends ain't loyal. Then now the other bandmate smashing the mom.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
What?
Hold on, wait.
I didn't hear that.
Supposedly.
What?
Yeah, so
Who smashing who, mom?
according to unknown sources, J Boog should have had a thing with Omarion's mom.
Poor Omarion.
What?
But he still don't give 2 fucks. He's still sitting there with the rest. I'm like, I don't care.
Who, Omarion?
Omarion.
I think
hasn't
he was
spoken
kind of
on
over the
anything.
baby mother. Like, cause she seemed a little cuckoo.
But what about your mama?
But the mom.
the
the
mama?
mom?
I don't.
That's just like
He's just
That's
unbothered.
straight
Some people
disrespect.
just.
I guess
what
he
you
knows his
do.
mama must be hot. I don't know. Like, but
I
even
mean-
still, like, how would you feel if your mama was smashing one of your friends? Like,
Shit.
Disgusted. What you been doing, mom?
upset.
Like,
Gross.
nah.
Call me stepdaddy.
Oh, no.
No.
Not gonna happen.
Yes. So it's been a lot, I guess, in the news. And the one that really made me feel some type of way or ruffle my feathers was the one with T.I. going to the doctors with his daughter to see if her hymen is connected. And I'm just like, that's
too
in my
much.
opinion, that's really invasive. And I think it gives the wrong messaging to her as a woman as what men are allowed to do and the control that they have over your body. In my opinion, like, that's her privacy. If her hymen is broken, that's her choice. It's no right of no man to have that much power and control and be so invasive over something that's yours and private. Right. And I think it sends the messaging that men have control of a woman's body. And we can, as men, like, men can regulate that. And I totally disagree. What do you guys think? What do you say?
How old is she?
18. She
How
grown
is it
woman.
even possible that the doctor is sharing information?
So
like
he
HIPAA
makes her
violation.
sign.
That's a HIPAA.
But
Yeah,
he
it's
makes
HIPAA
her
violation.
sign
That's a
this form to give permission where he's privy
Oh,
to that
as-
information. He stated that on his podcast.
Because I'm about to say, how is he even allowed to, like,
Go in the room.
I don't know if he's allowed to go in the room, but I think that the doctor, after it's over, shares the information. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't really know much about the law, but I even thought that just because I put your name on the form, I thought it's like if it's something life-threatening, these are the people you reach out to share my information. Don't just voluntarily give them information.
Because she's a minor, he has to get consent. And so
She's
he
18,
basically
so
makes
she's not a
her sign this form in order for that information.
So I guess what it boils down to, what Danny is saying, is that the daughter gave permission for her father to know and the information to be conveyed to him. But I also think it has a lot to do with like lack of education, because just because her hymen is broken doesn't mean that she's sexually active. Right. That can happen if you go over a bump on your bike. You know, it's so many things that can cause that to happen.
What is so bad about her hymen? I know you that means you lost your virginity, but if that did happen, why are you not being the one to say, okay, you've had sex, let's teach you about preventative methods, like
let's have this conversation
instead of
about it.
making it feel like, oh, it's shameful if I do have sex, it's shameful if my hymen is broke.
As a woman,
exactly,
that's what I think, because I also wonder.
But they said it about his son. His son's been having sex.
Damani's
been having sex since he was 13.
Sex.
But
he's
then
been having
sex.
He was having sex. I'm like, having sex what?
They say,
what do you mean?
He's been having sex since he was 13.
And what's the no word on that? That doesn't bother him.
It's like, that's my son. That's my son.
Go
ahead, son.
He
That's
said
what
when
I'm
he
saying.
found
It's
out about
not.
King that he kind of laughed it off. He was joking about it.
King too.
So all his boys just
So it goes back to
and then she's the
that
only girl,
man
and
and
that's
woman thing.
Exactly. That we're not supposed
So
to have
he basically
sex before
said
we marry, but the men
she
can
didn't
be
really
out
have
there.
a choice but to sign the sheet, the piece of paper to give him permission. So you basically forcing her to give you the rights to know what's going on with her body.
And have control over that. Or
And
so
because
you
it's your
think.
father, like, you're not going to disrespect and say no.
Right. And what's going to happen when you do find out that her hymen is, like, what's the consequence? Like, what do you expect the consequence to be?
Be locked up all the time.
Right. Like, no.
It happened. Now it's time for a conversation. Well, what do you guys feel as, like, if you were a mom and as moms, like if you found out that your daughter was having sex, or if your daughter came to you and said, hey mom, I want to have sex, like what does that talk look like? My child like recently just started asking me about puberty and about being a virgin, like what it means, and about so many things. And I'm just like, wait a minute, no, like you know, I want to just tell her like, no, I don't want to talk about this. But if I don't talk to her about it, then she's hearing it from her friends and she's getting the wrong message. So I'm like, I can't just be like, no, just. And then she was singing this song, and the song was like talking about some disease, STD, and she was like singing it, and I was like, do you know what an STD is? Like, do you know what that means? So I'm like, well, if I'm not talking to her again, she's getting like all this information, and it's the wrong information. So I'm like, well, this is what an STD is. Walking into church, we're talking about STDs this morning. And she's like, oh, yeah, don't sing that song anymore. But I think like if he's having a conversation like, okay, about your hymen being broken or not broken, or if he's having a conversation about sex with his daughter, then, or just saying, oh, don't have sex because you're a young lady and people are going to say that you're this and that. Like, I don't think that should happen.
I think it'll make her want to run away as quick as she can, and then when she's out there on her own, it's a whole nother story, and she probably won't know how to handle herself. Like, she's finally breaking free. It's that control that he has, like, you know, and once somebody has that much control, when you break free from it, I feel like as a woman, you're kind of getting liberated too, and you're starting to find out about what sex is, and I think that it'll be different for her once she experiences it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I think it's kind of hypocritical of T.I. It's cool, all your sons sitting out here doing this, that, and the third, but then not your baby girl because she's your girl.
And how old was he when he first had his child?
I was going to say.
Because his oldest.
So, I mean, he was smashing someone's daughter.
Yeah,
exactly.
So maybe he's trying to protect her from men like him.
And I think
you know, so
too.
it's just like I think his intentions, but
How
I think
is
his
that?
intentions are well. I guess what he's trying to convey to her is like, this is something sacred. Don't just give it out. So let me make sure you have it and you're waiting for that special someone. But the way he's going about it, and I'm not sure what other conversations he had prior to or even after. It's just that the limelight was put on this one particular incident. But just thinking as a parent, I'm sure his intentions were well. Like,
Yeah.
hey, baby, don't just go give it up to everyone. Like, but also the same messaging needs to be given to your son
talk
too.
should be enough,
Exactly.
Like, it's sacred whether you're a man or a woman.
But how embarrassing for that poor baby.
She must not be
she
embarrassed.
just-
Well, they said
That's her
that
dad.
people were commenting on like on her page saying, "Oh, I want to
Yeah.
take your virginity and things like that." So I'm like,
She a pretty girl.
but
She
that
is.
like that
Yeah.
right there just has to have a conversation. Like,
Yeah,
Dad, all
first
these
of
people
all-
are trolling me. This is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
And they may
know.
have a good relationship because I know my dad and I had and still have a really good relationship. And he was the first one I told when I lost my virginity. We were the
Aw,
first
that's
one
so
that we had the
cute.
So I'm just thinking like, if that was my dad, and my dad has come to the doctors with me, but he's not saying, so Kiviana, is your hymen still together?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But we had that relationship where I went to him and we first talked about sex, and it was me and my dad.
So maybe it's just that. Maybe it's just their bond is like that. And he goes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that. Maybe it's not as much as what the
We're looking
media
at
and
it.
people are
when
making
they
it
recorded
seem.
it and made it seem
Yeah.
extra bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. My father took me. But, I mean, there wasn't no information given. Like, you know, he wait out in the waiting rooms. Everything good? Yep, I'm good, Dad. Okay.
That's
you know?
No, that's funny. Yeah.
So, yeah.
My dad knew everything.
My dad would have a heart attack. I'm like, hey, Dad, what? No.
Yeah.
He would have a heart attack. My brother, I could talk to him about everything, but my dad, I'm like still his little girl.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I remember
And that's
when
two
I-
kids
kids later.
later.
Look at his daughter too,
Yeah, my dad's like he remained calm,
because that's technically his first daughter.
and I my daughter,
Yeah,
my dad's
because you
first
know,
daughter too.
Tiny has Zonique, but that's his daughter.
But
But you know,
Yeah.
that's like his daughter. But I don't know. I don't feel like going back to the question you asked about talking about it with your kids. I don't think sex should be like something that's taboo to talk about or a secret, because like you said, then they talking about it and they really don't know what they're talking about. Like I grew up with my mom and she wasn't like super open with it, but she let it be known like this is what it is. It shouldn't happen until you're married. But if it does happen, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to get done. And, like, literally, when I lost my virginity, she, like, looked at me and knew. I don't know how. But she looked at me and knew and was like, all right, we're going to Planned Parenthood tomorrow. And then we went from there. But it wasn't like she bashed me or anything like that. It was like an open conversation.
see, for me, just thinking about my baby, it's not that it's taboo. I just can't. I'm like, oh no, I can't. But I do think some things are age and developmentally appropriate. Now, my daughter just turned 6, but she's asking me questions about things. And I'm thinking, you're 6. Even though you hear these
Times are different.
things, do you truly know what it is? You know, and I also have to be careful about the messaging that I'm giving her, because at this age, she's going to relay that to her friends.
Right.
So it's like, building her knowledge, but also being mindful of the peers around her too, who's going to receive this knowledge.
Yeah.
And you know, every parent is not thinking that. Like recently, she was like, "Yeah, mommy, you and daddy was doing nasty stuff," and I was like, "What do you mean by that?" Right?
How that baby come out? Where that baby come from? Where baby would
Because
come
this
from?
was a term that she had been hearing her friends at her school say. So instead of me like, "What? Don't say nasty
Yeah.
stuff,"
Right.
like, I'm like, "Okay, what do you mean?" Because y'all were kissing. Oh, but but the language that you're hearing to identify these things,
Right.
for us, we make it so much more
Yeah.
versus just sitting back and listening. So I'm like, well, baby, you kiss your husband, you know, or your wife, and whenever you grow up, and then it's just like we go out into the world, and it's like slapping my face. She was like, "Oh well, mommy, we drove by the bus stop. These teenagers were cuddled up and kissing. Clearly, they weren't adults." She gonna say, "Mommy, so are they married?" So it's just like it's like now I'm combating.
It's more like
with-
what you believe.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to instill y'all
I'm
beliefs
just like,
into. Like,
girl.
what other people do is different
that's
than
what- that's what we do.
Yeah, what we do.
And
Yeah.
even about like body parts, like I didn't teach her about a penis until she had to know about a penis, and she has to know now because of her brother.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's gonna see me change her brother. That's the reality. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say go hide in the corner.
Right.
But now you see this as a penis. So now we're starting to have these conversations about different body parts. But I wasn't just going to my 3-year-old like, hey, you have a vagina and boys have penis.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing that when it comes to sex, when the questions start to arise, or when I know like, okay, it's this age when you're going to start having these conversations, then I'm going to tell you what that
Exactly.
talk will sound like.
You don't know
I
yet.
don't know. We're going to play it apart. Like,
But I would rather them to be able to talk to you as a parent,
of course,
as
than
opposed
their
to friends,
Yeah.
or what they hear on the internet or TV. Like they get a perception and it's not the right one.
Yeah.
I would want them to be more open with me,
Of
hear it
course.
from my mouth before. You
I
know?
think that the conversation that you have with the 6-year-old and the 11-year-old, like when Zaria was 6 or 7, like I was pregnant with Devin, you know, and she was like, "Oh, well, where do babies come from?" And I was like, "Well, you can't have a baby unless you're married." And like now she's like, well, such and such had a baby, they're not married. So like I had to be honest, you know what I'm saying? So the conversation switched. Well, you told me this happened and this. So it made me think like, dag, you know, the next time around when I do it with my son, should I just tell him the truth? You know what I'm saying? Should I not just sugarcoat it?
What's the truth? What are you gonna say?
But will they be able to process
I
it?
just want him to, you know that babies come from a loving place.
Yeah,
from,
love.
Like
Yeah,
love,
okay.
you know?
Sometimes that's still a lie.
Yeah.
We assume
Yeah,
that.
that's
I would
It's
hope
like the
that.
truth is babies
In that
happen
moment,
when
yeah.
two
In that
people have
moment.
sex. When the sperm meets the egg.
But you can't tell a
am not
6-year-old
telling him
that.
I will
In
not.
that moment, I feel like it was some type
I
of
will not.
babies come from strong emotions or
Yeah.
something like that. It's some type of emotion that was connected
But
with
then-
making this
I mean, I
child.
don't know
Yeah.
at 6 or 5 if they would be able to
Understand
comprehend
that.
and understand
They
what
definitely
it is.
not.
So it's not really
Stages of
lying,
development.
but wait until they're older so that they can have a better
Yeah.
concept of what
And
it really
William
is.
and I was talking about this because I told him we have to be careful around the language that we use. Like when we say, "Oh, you marry or you kiss someone that you love." How many times have we thought we were in love? Like even when we say you have sex with people you're in love with, how many
Yeah.
times have we were in love with this person
right.
yesterday?
Yeah.
And then
And
2 weeks
today
later,
we're
you know?
not.
Yeah.
So I just think also like just being careful around the messaging and the words that we're using. Like, no, you don't have sex with everyone that you love. You know, it's a little deeper than that. So I do think, to you guys' point, that it's when they get older when we really start having those conversations.
Exactly.
But I think you should definitely tell your children their body parts. Don't tell them it's a
That's your
cookie.
kuna.
Or
I do
nunu.
believe that too
Don't.
because if something happens
Come
or
on.
God forbid if something happens, you need to be clear on what happened.
Mommy, someone touched my
What did
cookie.
they touch?
Okay, baby, I'm gonna get you a new cookie. Like,
No.
no, you cannot use those words. Tell them what it is. You can't be like my cookie or my cupcake.
Right, you can't.
Don't
yeah.
don't teach them terms. Teach them the real terms of their body parts, please.
So they can be knowledgeable about themselves
Yeah.
at
Yep.
an early age.
Exactly.
All right, guys. So this is what's going to be happening from here on out. We're going to be coming to you guys and giving you guys our viewpoints on hot topics and what's trending. And if you guys have any hot topics that we may have missed or that you want to hear our view on or you have an opinion about, let us know. Hit us up in our DM. Now we're going to segue into something else that's new with love. Spicing it up for you guys.
All right, so we're going to read a couple of scenarios, and we're going to give you our opinions or what would we do in those scenarios. So I've been dating this guy for over a year now, and he still tells his 13-year-old son that I'm just a friend. When I asked him about it, he says it's because we have had some problems, and he doesn't want his son to know me as his girlfriend if we don't end up together. And I don't have kids, so I wouldn't understand. When is the appropriate time for him to tell his son about us?
So just to recap, this girl is dating this guy. They've been dating for 13 years, and he's still telling his son that they're friends.
Wait.
So at what
Clarify.
point?
13 years.
Like
Clarify
13
question.
How old is the son?
The son is 13, right?
son is 13.
Right. I'm like, wait,
okay.
13 years.
So how long have they been dating?
They have been dating for 2 years.
Oh, well, I mean, they still friends. They
She
still
says like over a year, so like a year and a half.
Wait.
Yeah, a year and a half, 2 years.
I don't believe they still friends. Because I just feel like as grown-ups, we know what we like. We know what we see, who we see a future with. We know if this person is going to last in my life.
So maybe
Like,
he don't. Maybe he,
then that's
it's
what he
just his
should
friend.
say instead of putting his son and throwing his son under the bus
Yeah.
But he
and making it
said
seem like it's the son.
we just friends, right? Didn't he?
It's
But
a
he's
more
telling the
friends
son
after
that
2
they're
years.
just friends. He's not saying that they
To
are
her,
just
he's
friends.
he's telling his son that they're just friends.
Right. So he's throwing his son and making it seem like I'm not saying it because of my son.
I just to answer the question, I personally don't believe it's a magic number for when it's the appropriate time to introduce anyone that's not a parent to your kids. You know what's the right time based off how you feel, how the person is treating you and like what's going on. Like you could be with somebody for a year and a half and then end it. Now what? You're gonna introduce someone else
Right.
to your kids? So you just have to know, like, Is this someone, like you said, is this someone that we're going to be with?
Yeah.
Right.
You're not just introducing your child to every Tom, Dick, and Harry because you dating
Exactly.
them.
I'm not saying that, but a year is a long time to be date. Well, if they have a boyfriend and girlfriend, and I feel like you date, maybe you go on a couple of dates with somebody, excuse me, and then you know if like, okay, I can see myself building something with this person. And I'm not saying after those couple of dates you introduce them to their kids, but after a year and a half,
They should at least met the child a couple of times.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm not
But-
saying you gotta say, oh, this is my boyfriend or my girlfriend, but like, what's the reasoning behind him not saying that?
But did he say that they didn't meet or that he's still telling his
They
son
just
they're
friends.
friends? Right. So he could have met her, but hey, son, this is my friend.
I feel like she need to clarify with him too. Like maybe he don't want to introduce the idea of a girlfriend to his 13-year-old son,
Or
Maybe
maybe
that's
he don't
what
want
it
to give a
is.
title because he don't know what the hell it is.
and that's fine too. But be honest and say that.
yeah, to her and not just to the
And
son.
don't just keep saying it's my. I'm just saying that because my son. No, be honest and say, well, honestly, I don't know where this going to lead. Then she
'Cause
can
it says-
decide if I'm going to stay or go from that.
It says that she met the son, but he just says that this is my friend, and
So she
wants
mad
to be
about the
introduced
title.
As a
As
girlfriend.
as a girlfriend.
But it's still a friend. You a girl. That's my
And,
friend.
you met him. You met his son. Like that's a
Girl, get
huge
your life.
step.
Like, goodbye.
I
I
feel like
think
when
a title
you
matters
Seriously.
to some people.
Yeah, it's like
A
get
title
your
matters.
life.
A
I feel
title
like
matters
once
to some
you
people.
met a child,
That
that's
should speak
huge.
volumes.
That
Like
That's so
you met my
nitpicky.
babies. That's
It
huge.
doesn't matter what title I met.
If I'm
you,
not
and
your
they know
wife
that
or
I'm
your
around.
fiance, then I'm
Yeah.
your what? Friend. Like wife, fiance, friend. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe she feels that way because the son is 13.
I
and
just
she
feel like a
thinks,
lot of
the son knows
confusion can
about
come from that.
girlfriend.
Again, I'm speaking. I don't have no kids, but I just feel like a lot of confusion can stem from that because if this every moment to me is a teachable moment. You won't just go from a friend to fiance, like, and it's like fiance to wife, and it's like, but dad, she was just
Your friend.
your friend.
Friend.
Like, how did it go from that to this? And then that's more explaining that he has to do,
Yeah.
and as opposed to saying like, oh, this is my girlfriend, and having a conversation with the son and having a dad son moment.
Maybe he really doesn't know where it's gonna go.
Then they wasting their
I was,
time.
man, I was about to say the same thing.
That's
Why
a
waste
waste
your time
of
for a whole
time.
year
And why
Yeah.
introduce me to your son
at all? Just keep me in
Yeah.
the background.
We ain't
Keep
gotta
quiet.
we ain't gotta do this. I can find somebody else. Well, give me a title. Be proud. Dang.
Put it on this shirt.
Right.
I'm with her. She's with me.
I don't know. All right, y'all ready for the next one?
Yeah.
This one, y'all gonna be like, what the all right. All right, last week, HR called me and said I needed to confirm a payment that was made on my medical insurance. When we checked it, it was a payment for a baby delivery and postnatal care costs made to a private hospital. I'm married and I have a child. Both my husband and my daughter are registered and use my bank medical insurance. All right, before I keep reading, which one y'all think it is? The husband or the daughter?
The husband.
Mm-hmm.
Trees?
Wait. Okay. So this is the wife telling the story.
Yes.
I don't think it would be the husband. I think it got to be the daughter because the daughter's, the husband wouldn't be that bold to use his wife insurance.
You don't know, girl.
All
Danny?
right, go ahead.
And she's having a baby.
Danny, who you think is the husband or the daughter?
I'm kind of with Treese. It's probably the daughter.
If you
'Cause,
if you cheating,
why-
you
if you-
dumb.
Yeah.
But then the daughter doing it too. And first of all, how old is the damn daughter? The parents
Yeah,
don't know
how
she
old
pregnant
is
and had a
the
whole damn baby. Let's
know,
be clear.
Some kids hide the pregnancy the whole time.
The
I
whole
hope
time
it's
to the
not
baby.
the
And
daughter.
deliver it. So,
I
hold
hope
on.
it's
So
not.
you had a baby and you was gone. What you tell your parents? You went on a weekend trip with your friends?
know,
Man,
I mean-
they come back hurting.
It's my gift. But you,
And she
I
still
don't
had a little
know.
pudge.
Push, yeah.
All
Well,
right,
maybe
keep
she
reading.
wore
Alright.
big clothes. I don't know.
She wore the
Yeah.
bag.
I hope
She
it's
took
not
it like
the
to the
fashion
early 90s.
The fashion
early
changed
90s.
up.
Don't say
All right, I went to the hospital to follow up on the matter and to verify the details, only to discover that a woman was admitted to the hospital and gave birth under the signature of my husband. A boy was born who carries my husband's name.
hold on.
Wait,
Oh, he was a
I ain't
complete
finished yet.
idiot. I would have murdered
I ain't
this
finished
nigga.
yet. I
Another one.
followed up with the matter and established that he has a girlfriend who recently gave birth. I confronted him with the facts and the medical account details. He has confessed that it's a woman who has a child for him. He says it was a mistake, and he has been trying to resolve the matter without hurting me.
what?
I am
Using
so
my
shocked.
I'm not laughing at the person. It's just like,
The situation, he's
Really?
dumb. He's stupid.
She has taken
She
leave
too
from
calm
work.
about it.
I am broken and I don't know what to do. Please help.
I hope you're not with the.
Oh.
You know, I feel like sometimes it's hard for us to rationale with these things because my first go to is like, what the fuck? You still with him? You just paid for a whole nother woman,
Yeah.
baby.
First of all,
That's
she ain't with him.
thousands.
She in the house. She broken. She ain't say she was with him. Ain't
But
no way.
when she said she don't know what to do,
She
that
said
means
she
you
needs
ain't
some help. She
leaving.
trying to figure out if she
obviously
leaving or
don't
she wants to
respect
stay.
you.
She's still trying
But,
to work it out.
but I feel like it's easiest for us to say that because we're not
We're
in
on the
those shoes
outside,
and we're on the
yeah.
outside looking in. It's
Yeah.
easier to get out of situations you're not in because we can play all these scenarios in our brain. But we don't know the attachment that she has with this guy.
How long they been
or
together?
The money, the
none of
kids,
that.
any of that. But still in the back of my mind, I'm like, no.
None of that. I'm sorry. All
I
of that
figure this
is
shit out.
Man.
out the window. I'm about to throw the headphones off. It's out the window because you went behind my back. You used my insurance. You
Had
let
a
this lady
whole
have a
nother
baby
baby.
for 9 months. She was your girlfriend before
Yeah.
this 9 months. So
But
all
then
of
you
that
try to
is
resolve
no.
the issue to
Heck
stop
no.
from hurting me.
If
Because
I
you got
wouldn't have
caught?
found out, if my job wouldn't have called, you still
You
wouldn't
would
have told me.
exactly.
I felt like
So no.
I feel like what's pissing me off the most is that you use
I'm
my
mad for
insurance.
real.
You use my like my
I'm
insurance.
mad. Where's she at? Let me call her.
Like I can't
I'm
find
mad.
it
That
out.
guy.
Like you don't think I'm gonna find
Like
out?
you don't think I'm a?
You didn't just sneak and have a baby. You had me pay for it. Matter of fact, run me my money.
Damn.
You and that bitch. Give me my money. Like I need
paid the
Man, get the
copay?
fuck out.
Crazy.
For real.
That's crazy.
But
right
also,
there.
it makes me wonder, like, what hospital he go to that allowed that to happen? What other fraudulent things were happening?
But
Yeah.
it's not, if he's on the policy, it's not fraudulent.
But he put
can't
like
put
another
another
person.
woman on her-
Like that's not her.
So she was pretending to be the wife?
It had to be.
Because how else would
how else
you
would you
get
get insurance?
Ain't no think about nothing.
Like, I
I'm
can't
suing
take-
you, I'm getting a divorce, and you're going to pay me alimony.
Yeah.
And what?
Like I can't take her to the hospital and be like, "Oh, she on my insurance." She's physically not on my insurance. Like how could that happen? She had to
So that
pretend
mean
to
you
be
had to
her.
get fake ID? Everything?
He did a lot.
You got to show your ID to have a baby
Maybe
in
the
the hospital?
girlfriend and the wife
I think
look
they probably
alike.
do it.
Maybe
after,
she
like,
was
you
in
had a baby.
labor. Maybe she was in labor and they rushed her in the ER and then he just filled the forms out for her.
Yeah,
But it's still fraud
and then
regardless.
showed the insurance card. That sounds right. But if we think about it, we go from when we first found out we had the baby and our insurance information is already in the system. So we don't, when we have a labor, you don't be like, "Oh, let me show you my insurance card."
I would be pissed.
Are you
What are you doing?
I'm processing this, y'all. I'm really trying to put these pieces
like,
together.
wait a
Like,
minute. What do I do? Do I give him my insurance card?
At the end of the day, she needs to value herself, value her sanity, and understand
We need to
this
empower
man
her.
he done made a whole plot, plan, everything.
yeah.
And
He
Yeah.
was trying to
lying.
hide this baby.
And he was
Soon he
lying.
was gonna be taking money out that bank
But hold
account
on.
and sliding it to her.
The baby has his full name, so
So
he
he
signed
accepted
that. No, but he signed the birth certificate
Right. So he's
for him. To,
accepting
like
it.
that's not okay.
He probably paid her rent, her mortgage, her car note, her car insurance. He probably doing all of that.
That's not worth you being miserable and unhappy because that means that you're feeling unloved at this point. But you're still gravitating towards him because you feel like, what else am I going to get? Or you can't do any better. Like you're just so, and then you're going to let him swindle you into believing like, oh, it was a
kids will
mistake.
understand.
Mistake my ass. Girl, bye. No, I would just
The
be
mistake-
so livid.
What was the mistake?
When he stepped out and you had a
first one,
girlfriend?
yeah.
Like, you had a girlfriend.
No, that's not a mistake because that's you
I
thought
think
about
he was
that.
saying that having the baby was a mistake.
What you thought was going to
But you
happen
had
when you
whole
have sex
9
with your girl?
months
But
to
you have a
tell
girlfriend.
me.
Like,
Yeah.
you didn't think
Yeah.
so. It was okay for you to have a girlfriend, but
it
it
wasn't
became
okay
a
to get her
mistake
pregnant.
once you got her pregnant.
And if she wouldn't have never went and investigated what's going
She
on with
wouldn't
her,
have.
she wouldn't have
Then
known.
who's his girlfriend?
So
Like, you
that
ain't know you
couldn't
had a
have been a
wife.
mistake. And then the baby got
The
his
girlfriends
name.
don't be caring. I hate to say that.
These
Lord.
women are ruthless.
She worth more than that. You don't need nobody that will ever do that to you, honey. Move on.
Find something better.
No friends, huh, Kevion?
No.
No friends.
See, it's just.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. So y'all think she should leave? That's what y'all
Yeah,
think?
I do.
Everybody
And I
thinks she
think-
I think she needs to value
Definitely.
herself. I think that
Yes.
she's just settling and feeling like, okay, maybe she loves him, but he doesn't love her to treat her like that. You know? It's
But
a
it just
two-way
makes me
street.
wonder about women in general. Like, are we that weak? Like we need that man to fulfill some of these things because time after time after time again, it goes back and cycle back to us having to be understanding and accepting of these men, and it's hard for us to leave them, and we endure so much at women. Like, at what point?
The point I found out at that hospital, I would have had that nigga shit packed up and on the damn outside the door. Locks changed, everything.
But I
But
think
think about the women who do stay. Who have, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
endured
They
that.
stay and they push it through and they like, you know what, this is my husband. I'm married to him. We gonna figure this
Yep.
out. And they bring in the baby like as their own or even as their family, like a part of their family.
Yep. And
So,
it's
like,
still with the hurt.
And again, we can't judge them because you know what I'm saying. That's what they chose to do.
I'm sorry, I'm
and
judging.
they need empowerment too.
No, we
they
not.
need to be empowered too.
But that goes back to you need to have a strong
Circle.
Man.
a strong circle.
But
too.
I don't even think it's like a circle. Like I went to church a few Sundays ago when it was domestic violence, and it was this lady who has an organization. I can't think of her name, and she talked about how she was a victim, and she stayed in this marriage because she put on this persona that she was perfect. Like, so she had the husband, she had the kids. So it was hard for her to reveal to the world and everyone around her that she wasn't. So my wondering is, does this lady have the ideal life? Oh, I have a husband, I have kids, I have a job, we successful. Right. So for me to come and say, y'all, guess what? My husband cheating on me and got a baby. Now it's like a slap in my face because it's like you running around here tooted up like you the shit, but the whole time your shit stinks.
Where y'all get this scenario from?
It's like it's women.
It's real life.
If it's life, then she ain't ashamed because she didn't put it out there.
But you know,
happened to her.
people who do scenarios, they don't say like, "Oh, my name is
Yeah, I know.
Jane Joe," and
it's probably anonymous, but
yeah,
the fact that to me that she put it out there that's her reaching out for help.
saying
That's
she
her
needs
saying, "I want your help." Like somebody help me. She knows in the back of her mind what the right decision is. Some people just ask questions because they want confirmation.
Validate.
Yeah,
Validate
so
that
she
I'm making
knows
right
what's the
moves.
right thing to do. She just waiting for other people to tell her do that. So she can be like, okay, this is the push. I need it. So it goes back to having a strong circle of women or people around you that can push you to make those right decisions. The decisions you know that should be made.
But then at this point, then also, I don't think it's solely on her to make the decision to leave. When does this man step up and say, you know what, I hurt you. And for the best interest of your feelings and the damage that I'm bringing to you, I think it's best that we part ways. Once again, we putting all of this on women to make these calls.
You said, when does a man step up? It's
But
a
is
very
why would he
selfish
step
act in the
up?
first
Because
place.
he did all of
Because
this.
he done lied. He done went and had a whole girlfriend. Now a whole
He
baby.
ain't
and he tried to hide
Then
it.
He gonna be the victim and say, I'm sorry, baby. It was a
It was
mistake.
mistake.
But you know what?
my
You
ass.
know what? A lot of people think though, when a man steps out, people looking like from the outside in, they like, oh, exactly, like what was she doing? What did she do wrong?
What was
It
she
ain't the woman, okay? All the time.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes.
Sometimes it is.
Not all the time.
We not
It
gonna
ain't the woman.
take all the blame.
It sounds like she want to give him everything. She want to still keep the nigga. I mean, if that was the case, because she wouldn't be deciding what to do.
It would be, I
have
know
been
what to
over.
do.
Yeah. It
So
would've
let
been
me ask y'all
unknown.
this. So if women cheat, is the man's fault? The man did something wrong?
It could have happened.
Every time. It could have happened. And we would have cheated, so it's the man's fault. Like, I feel like in the end, it's your...
When women cheat, it's we emotional
It's
creatures.
Come
It's
on.
a reason
So
behind
it's
it.
a reason
We tried
why
a couple of
we
times.
cheat.
You ain't do what you supposed
It's
to
a
do,
reason
and
why
then we
men
stepped
are
out.
impulsive.
They
And
like,
they're
oh,
more
she got
visual.
that bad. I
want to see how this
Exactly.
goes. Let me go
I wanna
check
get
this
it.
out.
I'm gone.
Or
That's
they
it.
ego driven. So a woman could just say, "Oh, you handsome. I like how you look." Every day they can get that compliment, and
it's
eventually
fine.
And they just keep moving and
right.
closer.
But when women, it's more. Oh, my
I don't
husband's
feel
not giving me
loved.
this.
Emotional.
I don't-
Yeah. So, but this person is now feeding that into me.
Consistently
so,
telling me what I'm not
So
getting.
it is the man.
Yeah.
It is the man.
Yeah.
It goes back to like
sometimes
the
it is
why.
some women who just not satisfied.
Right. So it's the man. The man is
No,
not
I'm just sometimes
satisfying
people
them.
are, even though they have a man that's satisfying them, they just feel like they still want more. You know?
The one
Do
who
you
got the
feel
white
like
picket
men
fence and all
always
that.
feel like they want more, in opposed to a woman where they give them everything? Like, or do you feel vice versa?
I just think that situation really just depends on the person, and what you need to fulfill you and validate you. Because like Teresa was getting at, it's some women out here who is just not satisfied.
Who got everything.
So you have the
That's
white
the issue
picket
within
fence. You have
themselves,
the husband,
though, that they need to
right?
reflect
So
on.
yep. Exactly, I was going to say the same
Something
thing.
missing.
It's like these external things aren't filling you up because you haven't filled yourself up. You have to be full within with things that you're placing inside of you, so that when someone else fills you in, it's full. But if not, if you're missing
You still
that
searching for whatever.
you
You're
are.
searching for that
Yeah.
next thing that can make me feel.
and you're not getting it,
I think that's
Yeah.
what people don't realize getting into relationships, period. Like, you have to make yourself happy.
Yep.
You're not getting in a relationship for them to make you happy.
It's
If you're
just
not
the cherry
happy,
on top.
it's going to demolish. It's going to
Exactly.
be horrible.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so flip the script, guys. What if this was the man writing to us saying that?
Aw,
What?
that would be sad. I think that would be sad. If the woman did that, that would be sad.
Hold on.
Y'all wouldn't feel for him.
Wait,
Nah,
you don't
no.
feel for her?
I do feel for her, and I'm just like, leave him.
Nah,
but
with the nigga,
so-
I would be like,
for the man, so
fuck
if
off.
she went and used his insurance and had a whole nother man, babe, but how was she hiding that for 9 months if it was the woman though?
But that means
Like,
it's
if-
something. So in my mind, I
He
would
not
think
paying
He wasn't
attention.
present.
exactly, which
Yeah.
makes you wonder why she stepped
Exactly,
out.
yeah. Because look, think about it, guys.
Oh, no.
When men go out on the army, they in the army or
If you go in the army and have a baby with somebody else,
If you go on the army and
the
that
man is in the
horrible.
army and
Then
he
I'll-
leaves for like 9,
And
they
then
leave
she
for like
having
a
an
year, right? They
affair
leave for
while
like a
he's
year.
serving the country.
Exactly. But she could have been like, "Oh, baby,
tomorrow is Veterans Day,
Anything.
guys. No,
She's so serious.
Oh my gosh, really?
he's risking his life for my freedoms, and I'm gonna go
Yeah,
have
out
sex
there,
and have.
yeah.
You get a little lonely.
Yes. So when he come back, he gonna leave her.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean,
Maybe
he's
he
gonna be
might wanna work
heartbroken
it
because he
out.
gonna think he coming back to what I left.
In that instant, that's sad. Like,
Hold on, wait. Both of y'all saying, "Oh, this whole lady that left,"
And I feel all.
she
No,
got
I was
paid this.
mad for her. I was mad for her.
I wanted
for
to, like,
him, I'm
fight him.
sympathizing
You
for
you
him.
sympathetic
Only
for
if
him,
it
Yes.
but you
only,
like, "Oh."
only if it was the scenario that this nigga
He
was
was
serving the country.
He could have been an
Anything
artist.
else,
What if he's an artist?
No.
No.
So
can't
what
be
He
is
around
probably,
the
he
Or
probably
finger on
cheating
the
on your
road.
ass every damn day if
I
he on
mean,
the road.
but
Like,
Michelle, I
nah.
believe your scenarios are unfair. Like, because what you're paying, yes, because you're saying if the roles was flipped and this man was just like away for a long period of time,
Yes.
and the woman is cheating. But in this scenario, the man was fucking in
He
the
was
next
there.
bed
Yeah,
over.
I got you.
So I feel like, nah, that's fucked up.
No,
Even if the
that's
roles
all
was
the way
flipped,
fucked up.
it's
Yeah.
still
Still
messed
messed
up.
up.
Either
Period,
way the
it's still
cookie
messed
crumble,
up.
It's
Either
messed
way,
up.
it's messed up.
Nah, I
I
feel
just
more
be
for
trying
the
to,
woman.
flip the script, y'all.
Baby.
Nah,
You
I
know.
feel more for that woman.
It's Veterans Day tomorrow.
Girl, I probably got it swinging.
Oh my gosh.
Been waiting for his ass. Going, what?
I don't even
Post
think
it
I would
up.
put that much energy into it because I feel like if you put that much energy to deceive me, then I'm not even about to waste my time with you no more.
yeah.
I'm just okay. Enjoy your life with your new baby and
I'm
your
still
girlfriend.
stuck on the fact he used this woman in
Insurance.
Like, that's a big
nigga.
deal.
And the
She
baby
pay for that
is
every
his
month.
name. Yeah.
That's
So
what
that
I'm
means
saying.
for prenatal care,
he have a job?
she been paying for 9 months worth of prenatal care and the delivery, and you was sitting there eating hospital food on my dime.
Come on
like,
now. Come on.
I need some kind of
that's what I'm saying.
compensation.
That's what makes it a lot worse because it's like
Yes.
you was plotting like this.
this was
is
premeditated.
planned.
Yeah.
You been there.
First of all, you ain't got to ask me what to do. You gonna be like, can you guys put some money up for my bond? Because
Man,
I'm
'cause
killing
I'm
that
about to
nigga.
kill-
Like,
Okay.
no.
I'll be right
Get
there
no
with
bond
you.
then. We're not getting no bond. We'll come visit you.
Put some money on my books.
I'll put somebody in your commissary.
Better not knock on my door. I'm gonna come
You
out
got
swinging.
to stay
Don't you
temporary
see it?
insanity.
I'm gonna go visit her in the hospital. All right. Look. Oh my god.
Are y'all ready for the
Your
last
life
one?
matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
That one got me heated. I feel
Yes,
sorry.
I'm still
for
mad
her.
for her.
Yes.
That's why I said I was
All right,
mad
this
for
one
her.
is gonna take y'all. It's gonna bring y'all back up.
Okay.
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 Let me close my eyes so I can visualize
Okay.
it. Let me see. Go
I
ahead.
am a 36-year-old divorced mother of 5.
Old lady single. Mhm.
Oh my God. That's mean.
I'm stating the facts. Keep going.
She not old lady.
36, you 40, you menopausing soon. You got 5
She
kids.
lived her life
Hold,
with 5
bruh.
kids.
Hold
All right,
up.
keep
Hold
going.
up. Hold up. Hold up. Okay.
You don't even know she the bad guy. You don't even
Damn.
know.
All right, go
Okay,
ahead.
go ahead. Get
I
it
have
out.
always been attracted to older men. I wouldn't even date guys my age. Well, one day I met this guy at work and he seemed cool. We started talking.
It's the way she's reading.
We started talking more and more each day. Then I find out that he's only 25.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, I know nothing is going to come from this, but we can kick it. Well, this is no boy. Okay? This is
He done gave her the business.
this is a full-grown man who is showing and proving his feelings. I am falling for him, but the guilt of taking away his possibility of being married and or having kids is keeping me back. I don't know if I should follow my heart and be happy or let him experience the things he's never had with someone else.
Okay.
Exactly.
should I do?
Like
Let
I
go
told
and
you
let
guys,
God.
he's
Let-
old. She's old. Like at a point, she can't
But
have kids
5
for him,
kids?
and she already done lived her
She
life.
can have kids, but she don't
They
want
don't-
none. She got
no,
5.
when
She
you
got 5.
reach a certain age,
Yeah,
as a
then you
woman,
have a geriatric
exactly. She's
pregnancy.
36. She's
She'll
there.
just have a geriatric
She's
pregnancy.
there.
Damn, she can have
She's
kids.
there.
Look, I'm
She's
being
there.
defensive because I'm knocking
know,
on the
'cause you
door.
damn near
I'm knocking
37.
on the
Oh, for real?
No,
I'm 21 for life. I
don't
ain't
believe
gonna put my
her.
mouth out
Don't
there.
believe her. Okay, I am not. But
Michelle is here. 37 is there.
I am 31. Okay, so it's close, but don't come for her.
Guys, this. Mm-mm.
I like her because she's thinking about his feelings first.
Yeah,
But if he's deciding that he wants this, maybe he don't want to have kids. Maybe he don't want to get married.
she got 5 of them.
First
so.
of all, let's think about this. Let's do the math. How old do you think her oldest child is?
We don't know. She could have had a baby at 13. We don't know.
Right, so it might be the same age as this man that she's talking to. It's what you. So now your stepdaddy is your brother age.
I don't feel like age matters.
Age ain't nothing
Yes,
but
age
a
ain't nothing
Pretty
but a
Ricky
number.
said it.
number ain't nothing but a
But,
line.
okay, let me be real. At my 31-year-old age, I'm gonna shut up. Never
I plead the fifth. I will say nothing. I will say nothing. You see, I went. Proceed.
I don't know. I feel like she should just talk to him. Stop. Just talk to him.
Y'all playing footsie.
Just talk to him and see what his life goals are. Like if he don't want to have kids, then
I don't know. I feel like
It's
it's
hard
Stella,
to
how
you in
Stella
that
got her
situation.
groove back. Sometimes you need to get younger. How Stella got her groove back, you know?
I just feel like
It's
with
a
5
pop back.
kids, she's definitely not gonna want to have more.
Nah, 5 kids, that's a whole tribe.
Yeah, she's definitely not gonna want. That's a starting 5, honey. Nah.
Oh, man.
But
But that is considerate. But, like, how do you go out? Is the oldest one old enough to watch the kid? Like,
Yeah.
how do y'all get it?
Gotta be.
That's a lot.
they not 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So
So
I guess. All right, guys. We gotta go.
we gotta come back.
But
go ahead. You already feel like she old. So go ahead.
I do feel like she
Right.
old,
Hold
and
on.
it's just.
She's so disrespectful.
I'm 21
Can
for
she
life.
not get a man?
But
That's
You are
her.
not.
But she didn't know
But-
because
hold on,
You
listen,
about to
we
say, can
should
she not get a
know.
man her age?
She always mess with older men.
Right, but now at this point, turning your life, you decided to mess with someone younger.
He
Maybe she
came to
didn't find
her.
out.
Clearly,
Yeah.
it says she met him at work, and she didn't even know he was 25.
And she didn't know she
And
found
And
out
she
later.
found out.
And you just kept going.
No,
he was
now
already
she's.
got the
He
She's
gave her
full
some.
of
He gave her.
He did,
some.
and that's what
Sure
she
he
said. He's a
did.
grown man.
Right.
Well,
Grown
she
man.
used to dating when dudes older than her. She dating with these men who using Viagra.
But, okay, let's
probably.
be
So
real.
she probably got.
It
some
ain't even
younger-
gotta do nothing with the sex.
But
It's probably
that's what she
communication.
said.
She said he's a full grown man, right? But she ain't had to be talking about his penis size. Or
I
like his
assume
interaction.
that.
Me
I
too.
assume
I'm
that.
like,
She
well,
saw that
that's
organ
like
and was
that.
like, "Whoa."
She could have been
It's
talking about like
different.
he communicates. He's like more mature because like age is literally nothing. Women mature more faster than men, as they say. But he may be like super. He may be super mature. We don't know. Nobody knows.
All right, guys. So I guess we can ask you guys this: do you think it's okay for you to date men significantly younger than you, or date women significantly
Ask
younger than you?
Stella.
Me personally, I would never date nobody younger than me. That's just my
Never say
personal.
never.
But men do it
preference.
all the time.
Yeah.
Men are always older
Because,
than
like you
women.
just said, women mature
Like I
faster
said,
than
it's
men.
like how Stella got her groove back. She went and got her little young Tay Diggs. Like
He ain't act young.
He ain't act. Well, he was eating cereal.
I don't
in
know
the bed.
nobody younger than me that don't act young.
So
All right, guys. So we're gonna end it right there. We're just gonna
Thank
end
you.
it right there. All right. If you guys disagree with us, or you agree, or you just would date someone younger than you, why or why not? Let us know. Tune in to the next podcast. Leave your comments down below.
and make sure you send us your scenarios.
Yes, yes, yes. Don't forget. Scenario,
Subscribe to our
scenario,
YouTube
scenario.
channel. Love Empowerment.
Spread the word.
Bye. Adios.